Today, we're diving into the top 10 mistakes that are costing musicians and their families a fortune in lost royalties. Now, this isn't just theory. Think of this as a roadmap built from some really hard-won experience to help you actually claim the money you've earned.
And this quote, this is really where our story starts. It's from B.K. Muir, who inherited her husband's music catalog. Her journey through the absolute chaos of the music industry after he died is the foundation for everything we're about to cover. It makes this whole topic very real, very human.
So this isn't just some dry list of tips. No way. It's a map drawn by someone who actually lived through the nightmare of trying to find unclaimed royalties. Her struggle pulls back the curtain on just how complicated and, frankly, unforgiving this system can be. It shows you why knowing the rules is so critical to getting paid.
And that gets to the absolute core of the problem. You see, the music business is not set up to come find you. It's this messy, constantly changing system that puts all the responsibility on you to hunt down and claim your own money. If you just sit back and wait, it can literally vanish. All right, let's start at the very beginning. We're talking about those small errors that happen right when a song is being made. They might seem totally minor at the time, but they're like tiny cracks in a foundation. Over time, they can make the entire financial structure of your music just crumble.
Okay, so here are 3 of the biggest foundational flaws. Things like not having written split sheets or not registering every single version of a song. But the one we're going to focus on, the #1 reason money gets lost, is what I call set it and forget it uploads. This is when you upload your track to a distributor with incomplete or just plain wrong data. A misspelled name, the wrong songwriter percentages. These little typos have huge costs.
So where does that money go? Well, it ends up in something called the black box. It's basically a giant holding account. When a collection society gets money from, say, a Spotify stream, but the data attached to it is messed up, they can't match it to you, so they hold on to it. But, and this is the really important part we're going to come back to, they don't hold on to it forever.
Okay, so let's say your data is perfect. You're still not done, not even close. One of the biggest myths out there is that your distributor, like TuneCore or DistroKid, collects everything for you. They don't. To get all of your money, you have to personally navigate this collection maze and sign up with the right organizations.
Now, in the US, there are 3 essential organizations you need to know. First, you've got your PRO, that's ASCAP or BMI. They collect performance royalties from radio, TV, and live venues. Then there's the MLC, which is super important for collecting mechanicals from streaming services like Spotify. And finally, Sound Exchange handles digital performance royalties from places like Pandora and SiriusXM. Each one is in charge of a completely different piece of the pie.
And this right here, this chart shows one of the most common self-inflicted wounds in the whole industry. See, when you join a PRO, you're not just the songwriter, you're also the publisher of your own work. But if you only register as the writer, you are automatically leaving 50% of your money on the table. That publisher share, it just sits there, unclaimed, because there's no publisher account for them to send it to.
Okay, now we need to shift gears and talk about a group facing an even tougher battle: the heirs. When a musician passes away, trying to secure their legacy is this high-stakes process, and it is just loaded with unique legal and administrative roadblocks.
So the first thing any heir has to understand is this: nothing, and I mean nothing, happens automatically. The second a collection society finds out a creator has died, boom, their accounts are frozen. You can't just call up and get ownership transferred. You have to provide a ton of legal paperwork, death certificates, court documents to prove you're the rightful heir. On top of that, you basically have to become a detective, digging up old contracts and hunting for hidden money, especially from overseas.
Now, this might be the single most valuable piece of advice for any heir. There's this myth that old record deals from decades ago are locked in forever. But the reality is, US copyright law actually gives creators and their heirs a one-time shot, a super narrow 5-year window to terminate those old deals and get the copyrights back. If you miss that window, that massive asset stays with the publisher for good.
All right, so all of these mistakes, the bad data, the unregistered songs, that unclaimed publishers share, they all funnel down into one final and kind of dramatic point. There is a ticking clock. There is an urgent deadline that you absolutely cannot afford to miss.
So, let me just ask you this straight up. All that unclaimed money that's sitting out there with your name on it, do you really think it's just going to sit there and wait for you forever?
The answer is a hard no. You have, typically, about 3 years. After 3 years, all that money in the black box, your money, is legally redistributed to other artists and publishers based on who has the biggest market share. So your procrastination, your missed registration, it literally ends up paying someone else. The money does not wait.
And that really is the ultimate takeaway here. This quote from BK Muir says it all. In the music business, waiting means losing. Your creative work is valuable and it deserves to be paid for, but the system demands that you be proactive, that you be organized, and that you be vigilant. It's on you to make it happen.